Hello folks, how are we doing today? Hopefully your trophy hunting weekend has been fantastic. Welcome to episode 13 of the Platinum Trophy Show. This is the weekly trophy and PlayStation show on the internet. We look at all the latest trophy news and updates, as well as all the PlayStation stuff that is going on at the moment, giving you your weekly dose of trophy hunting goodness. I can't believe we're on to episode 13. I feel like I say this like every week now. It's crazy. What am I doing? We need the intro. Let's play the intro. Come on. Alrighty guys, welcome back. Like I said, I can't believe we're on episode 13 of the show already. It's pretty insane. Thank you guys so much for watching these. I really do appreciate it. Now, what did I want to do today? I want to talk about a couple of different things today. There's not a ton of news. There's a few trophies that I want to go through. Firstly, Cuphead, which we're going to talk about, I guess, in the news. But I am looking at pulling together a trophy roadmap and guide for that. Morris, I know you've mentioned it a few times. It's coming. It's coming. All right. Don't you'll have it soon. Crypto's been bugging me about it as well. It's coming. So I haven't personally played Cuphead yet. However, I do have a good friend of mine who has played it. I've had a chat with him today. I've recorded a... Can you guys hear the car? The plane? I think it's an aeroplane. It's weird because there hasn't been aeroplanes in such a long time. I don't know. Hopefully you can hear that. Otherwise it's awkward. I haven't heard an aeroplane in months because we're locked down. So that's kind of weird. So I had a conversation with my friend today who played Cuphead a ton on the Xbox when it came out. He's gone through the trophy list for me and had a crack at it on PS4 to let me know and give me a bit of detail around the game. Also had a bit of a look online as well. So pulling all that together, and we'll look at recording that video tomorrow, hopefully. I'd also like to play the game a little bit myself so I can talk about it with a bit more authority before I record a video. I don't like to go into a video blind or anything like that. I like to make sure I know everything that I need to know before I jump in. Normally I like to have played the game and finished the game. In this instance, I am terrible at Cuphead, so that's not going to happen. But at least I'll get a bit of a feel for it, and using information from experts as well as the internet. Hopefully I'll be able to pull a decent guide together. So that should be out on the channel tomorrow, so stay tuned for that one. I haven't forgotten about it. What else is happening? Looking at doing some upgrades to the studio office thing here. I'm looking at getting some additional lighting. My big problem is currently I have a light which you can't see, but if I look like right up there, it blinds me like nothing else. It's great, like it lights everything up. If I turn it off, I'll show you what it looks like. This is the grainy dark room without the light. So if I turn that on, we get illumination. But this whole side of my face here is dark. So I'm looking at potentially getting some additional lighting, maybe like fixtures up here to kind of shine some light here, and then maybe even something in the background to illuminate that a little bit. It's just something I'm going to try and work on over this next week or two. I was actually fortunate enough to receive my first YouTube paycheck, which is an incredible feeling and something I thought I would probably never say, ever. And now I'm in a position where I can actually afford to look at upgrading things in the studio and upgrade things for the channel, which is kind of mind-blowing and incredible. So yeah, so thank you guys for that. I really appreciate it. It's an amazing feeling. So today on the show, I guess, where should we start? I've got this crypto stress ball from the Destroy All Humans collector's edition I got given, and I play with this thing like all day. It's really bad, I think. It's not good. Let's look at the stuff we want to talk about this week. So first thing I want to look at is Gamestat. Now this here, I've shown you this website a few times, guys. This is where we take a look at all the new stuff that's popped up on PSN profiles. Now over on Gamestat, there's a couple of interesting things that have popped up today. Firstly, we've got this here, Birthday of Midnight. Now, Birthday of Midnight appears to be a sequel to the Fragments of Midnight games that were released a couple of years ago. These were some of the easiest, well, like easiest Platinum trophies that you could have earned on the PS4 way back when. I think that I don't even remember when exactly these happened. But there appears to be another one of these coming, and I haven't seen any information about this anywhere. I googled it. I've done a ton of research to try to find it. There's no trophy list. There's no information online about this. However, you can see here, Birthday of Midnight appears to be another game. This is the trailer for Midnight Deluxe. Do you remember this one? You play as this little square guy. He bounces around, and you have to land him in the thing. It's kind of like Angry Birds. There's also another one, which is like 44 Fragments of Midnight or something like that, where you had to... was a platformer and you had to collect all the different fragments in like 7 minutes or something like that. I think it was some weird time thing. But this appears to be a sequel to this game. Radalika published the original game, so my assumption is this is another Radalika title coming in the next couple of weeks. So kind of interesting. Like it's interesting that this is coming back because it's like a brand that was an easy platinum game brand, I guess. And yeah, this appears to be something that's coming back, so that's kind of a cool thing. Also on this website, I noticed Active Neurons too. So you guys might remember Active Neurons came out earlier in the year. It's a puzzle game. When did Active Neurons come out? Am I thinking of a different game? Sorry, I doubted myself there for a second. No, it's the same game. Active Neurons came out earlier in the year. Looks like there's a sequel to that game coming out. That was a puzzle game where if you followed the solutions, you could earn the platinum. Really, really straightforward. I think I did a roadmap for it on the channel when it launched earlier in the year. It was one of the first videos I think I looked at making on the channel this year. Or it was at least in the first batch of videos. So that was kind of cool. Now, if we scroll down here a little bit more, you'll also notice that Turok is on here as well. So it looks to be that Turok's release is imminent as well. We've got 2 SKUs for the game here, a European and American SKU. So my assumption is this is just going to pop up on the PlayStation Store next week or the week after. Because we don't have a drop anymore, we can't tell when games are coming. We can just check them on here. So Gamestat basically tracks any games that have appeared or have been uploaded to PlayStation's servers or the PlayStation Store's servers. So this at least tells us, hey, this game is coming imminently, or it's been uploaded to the servers, which means maybe it just has to go through some sort of classification process before it can go live. Maybe they have a specific like announcement release date for when it goes live. I don't know, but it appears that Turok is actually coming out imminently as well. We don't know what this is yet. We don't know if this is like a remake, a remaster, or just a port. My assumption would be that it's a port of the Nintendo Switch version of the game, which came out, I think, last year? Let me check that. Yeah, so the Nintendo version of the game was a N64 port. So it was just a straight port of the game, not a remake or a remaster or anything like that. My guess would be that this ends up being the same thing on PS4 as well. It's like $19 US. So it's probably going to be priced the same as that. So that's kind of exciting. Turok is coming soon on the PlayStation 4. And that's kind of all the exciting stuff on here. If we have a look at the news this week, there's a few exciting stories that have popped up. The first is this thing about Silent Hill revival. So Silent Hill social media account prompts new series revival speculation. This is over on Push Square. Now, they're basically talking about a Silent Hill Twitter account, which they feel is official, tweeting out some stuff about Silent Hill, thinking that this might be leading to an announcement of a new Silent Hill game. I don't think so. I'm skeptical about it, to be honest. Wait, let me start again. Let me rephrase. I think there will be another Silent Hill game. I don't think that series is done. I think Konami is making a comeback in terms of game publishing and stuff like that. I think they're definitely looking to do more stuff. However, I'm not sure that this is it. I think the angle that the article here is going for is that this is something that Sony is working on, or it would be something that's announced as part of Sony's event that's coming up. And I don't believe that's going to be the case. I think that if a new Silent Hill game does come out or released, it's going to be Konami published and produced. I don't think it's going to have any involvement from Sony. Maybe it has some sort of second party or third party deal with Sony, but my gut feel doesn't say that. My gut feel says that it stays with Konami and they look at doing this themselves. Now, the reason behind that is because even though Silent Hill is a popular franchise, and I don't talk about it tons on the channel, but Silent Hill 2, it's a contender for one of my favorite games. It's definitely on my top 5 favorite games of all time. I love Silent Hill 2. It's a great game. But Silent Hill doesn't sell particularly well, especially like horror games in general just don't sell that well on these modern platforms. Even Resident Evil doesn't sell, as well as a AAA action game. It just doesn't feel like the kind of thing Sony would invest in, alongside the rest of their games. God of War, Horizon, Days Gone, Uncharted, all these games that are selling, millions and millions of copies. And then there's this like intense horror game, which it's not like Last of Us levels of horror. This is like intense horror. It just doesn't feel like it's part of that repertoire of money making that Sony tends to kind of go for. That's kind of my opinion on it. I could be completely wrong on that, but if you look at it from a business perspective, it probably doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense. I know even horror movies don't particularly gross that much money. They normally significantly underperform. A, because the restrictions on the rating is high, and B, just because the genre isn't super popular. Most people are going to go and see a comedy, an action movie, a drama, a Marvel movie, something that's like M-rated, whereas horror movies generally fit above that rating, and they generally aren't for everybody, which means they just don't perform very well in the box office or financially at all. There are obviously exceptions to that, but they're few and far between. And games are kind of the same. These safe genres, action, adventure, platforming, shooter, these things are all safe compared to a horror franchise. So, I don't know, that's my take on it. I hope I'm wrong, because if Sony was producing a Silent Hill game, undoubtedly it would be awesome. So, there's that. Probably should have led with this one, Cuphead on PS4. Obviously, Cuphead launched on PS4. The Platinum looks super, super hard. Like I said at the top, I'm putting together a trophy roadmap for this. Should be on the channel tomorrow if all goes well, maybe the next day, just depending on how upload schedule goes. I'm kind of going to let it leapfrog all the stuff I had planned for this week, so it can get up on nice and early on the channel. Seems to be a ton of people playing this game at the moment. Seems to be pretty popular, so looking to try and help some people out with that if I can. But yeah, Cuphead's now available on PS4 if you guys are into that. I don't really understand the appeal of this game personally. I just don't get it. I played a little bit of it on Nintendo Switch when it came out, and I sucked at it. I was terrible, and I just never revisited it. But I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. I'm going to play a little bit of it tonight on PS4 to try and get a feel for things, so maybe that will change my mind. We've got the story here about EA potentially considering buying Warner Brothers. This has been going on for a while, so EA is looking at buying some of the WB studios. This would include things like NetherRealm, Rocksteady, Telltale Games, right? No, Telltale, the studio who makes the Lego games. So there's that potentially this acquisition that's going through at the moment. Not too much to say on it. I guess if EA do buy it, it's probably a good thing for EA. They get a lot of different IPs. It would really depend on whether or not the licenses to like those Batman franchises and those other WB franchises follow along with it. That would really depend on how big of a deal this is. Because if like the WB games like Rocksteady lost the ability to publish Batman games, for example, or produce Batman games, what would they do? That's kind of what they're known for. So I guess kind of watch this space to see what happens there. Right, we've got this, like, Beyond Good and Evil getting a feature film coming to Netflix. I don't know, it feels like every game is being made into a feature film. This all kind of goes in line with this other story out of Ubisoft, is that Splinter Cell is looking at getting a Netflix anime as well. So they're looking at producing a Splinter Cell anime as well as a Beyond Good and Evil movie. I love the idea that they're producing more content for people in these universes if people want them. Like, that's great. And if you're a Beyond Good and Evil fan, I imagine this is awesome news for you. You get to see more Beyond Good and Evil. The impression I get is like, just kind of make the games. Like, I think they need to just stick to the games. I feel like everyone bringing their game franchises to film or television is getting a bit crazy at this point. Like, the game is sufficient. I think that's what fans want. Beyond Good and Evil, especially considering they had this epic announcement, then went quiet on it, and they haven't said anything about this game for years. And I think people are probably wanting to know what the heck's going on with the game at this point. Honestly, I don't know. It's weird. Personally, I'm not a fan of like movie games. I like movies and I like games, but generally most movie games are just not that great because video games narratives just don't stack up to what's required to pad out a full feature-length film or television show. There's not enough there when you strip away everything, like all the gameplay and those elements to it. It just doesn't have that same like oomph that a television show or movie has. And that's not to say that video games have a bad story. For the medium of video games, I think that there's a lot of games that have great stories, but they don't translate that well. So, I don't know. This is great for people who love this kind of thing and people who like this kind of thing. Personally, for me, I'm not a big fan of it, so it doesn't really do much for me. And the PlayStation blog didn't have anything, did it? This is just all... There's nothing really on here that I wanted to talk about. So this brings us through, I guess, to the trophies that came out this week. So jumping over to PSN profiles, there's actually not a lot that popped up this week. It's only one page of stuff that's here. And we can go through these things. I might actually just grab a hoodie. Give me a second. It's quite cold in here today. We're in the middle of winter in Australia, so things get cold here in the evenings. Hang on a sec. Okay. All right, we can continue now. It's getting pretty cold here in the evenings. So what do we got? We've got this week. The main one that I want to show you guys is White Boys with Attitude got some DLC, which is weird. This was the free-to-play game that came out on the store a couple of months ago, I guess, or a month or two ago now. And they finally got some DLC, which I guess is odd. This was like a relatively easy 100% that you could go for free. Now the DLC is free as well. They've got here 4 trophies in the DLC, 1 gold and 3 silver. Beat WWA's high score in monies in the bank. Visit the Perp Club and dance to monies in the bank. Collect more than $1,000 and collect more than $5,000 in monies in the bank. This annoys me so much because it means I'm gonna have to download this game again and play the DLC to get everything, which is just so frustrating. But yeah, okay, so this game got some DLC. I guess it's more free trophies if you're into free trophies, so that's kind of good. You can get 4 more free trophies from this game. It's one of the weirdest games that released on the PlayStation Store, though. This game was so strange because it seems like anyone can make a game these days. So Rugby Challenge 4's trophies went live. This is your standard rugby trophy list. The problem is that no one's got the platinum yet. It has only got 5 owners, which means it's probably only come out in a few markets. But we do have a guy here, Kiwi Stings, who's got 100%, but it hasn't like registered. So I don't know if this is going to be an easy one or a hard one. These games in the past have had an easy trophy list because you can just simulate games and that will give you a ton of the trophies. This one here, there does appear to be like a few other like very situational things, like make 2 offloads with specific characters. Or rugby players, not characters. Finish the competition with an 80% win rate. Stuff like that. So it might be slightly harder than previous rugby games, but I thought I'd talk about it. I thought I'd mention it. We've got Lost Wing, which I have a trophy roadmap coming for soon as well. This game is pretty straightforward. I mentioned it in the 5 easiest platinums of the month, I think. And the game's really, really simple. I have played this one and it's really easy as well. So if you're after an easy plat, you can go for this one. I should have a trophy guide for this one up probably this week, I think. Cuphead shouldn't bump it out too far. Speaking of Cuphead, we have the trophy list for that as well. Currently, how many people have got the platinum? 130 have got the platinum out of 2,500 or so that own it, which is actually a pretty decent amount. That's 5%. So it's already bumped it out of that rarity. It seems like a lot of people here are talking about this game though. So super, super popular. The game is hard. The game is going to be like undoubtedly difficult to platinum. So it's worth keeping that in mind if you're going for it. However, if you're into these kind of games like this, then it's great. It's a great thing for you guys. Fairy Tale's trophy list went live as well. This is a game that I have been playing for about 2 weeks and was hoping to actually have this done for launch so I could have a guide up on the channel and a roadmap up on the channel and things like that, but I just wasn't able to get this one done. It's such a dense JRPG. Let me talk about it for a little bit here if you guys are into it. So Fairy Tail is an anime that has been around for like quite a few years. I used to watch it back in the day and have recently revisited it this year because of lockdown. I had some free time, so I decided to catch up on Fairy Tail. So I've watched I think about 4 seasons of the show. I've watched up to where the English dub ends. This game isn't in English. It's all in Japanese. It's got English subtitles, so it doesn't use any of the English dub, which was disappointing to me. I think it would have been a nice touch if they'd done that. It's not an open world JRPG. It's a linear JRPG, I would say, with turn-based combat. The combat system is pretty straightforward. It's not very complicated, which is nice. It's a good thing. It's not like overly convoluted. But the narrative of the game does come from the show. It's like, I think somewhere in Season 3 is where it starts, and it carries through Season 3, and I think Season 4 of the show. So if you're not up to date with the show, it might spoil some elements for you. But the game is neat. I do enjoy it. I'm digging it. I'm going to try and finish it so I can have a review up for it as well, and then hopefully a trophy guide too. Yeah, that's really all there is to it. I don't think there's too many trophies that are complicated in here, but that's Fairy Tail. Alongside Fairy Tail's trophy list, we also got a trophy list for a new Adult Swim game, Samurai Jack. I haven't thought about Samurai Jack since I was a kid watching him on Cartoon Network, so it's kind of cool to see a Samurai Jack game coming out. Tons of trophies in here, so this makes me feel like this is a full game. They've got here that it's a hack and slash beat 'em up adventure fantasy game. You know what, instead of going through the trophy list for this, let's actually look at a trailer. I don't know, is Samurai Jack making a comeback at the moment or something? And he's like, are they remaking the show, or is this like just a game based on the show that's kind of just random? Or maybe the show's been back for a while. I remember it from when I was young. So it looks to be a side scroller, I think. Or maybe not. Maybe it's 3D. Oh no, maybe it is a 3D hack and slash. This could be cool. I liked this this cartoon when I was a kid. I really enjoyed it. It's really cartoony and kind of looks kind of fun. Let's skip ahead a little bit here. Yeah, it does. It looks kind of cool. I might check this out. He had a gun? I don't remember him getting a gun. I didn't watch the show religiously or anything like that, but you know, I just remember it. So yeah, this is coming at some point as well. I didn't even know they were making this, so that's kind of exciting. Firefighters Airport Heroes got a trophy list. The reason I wanted to talk about this is because normally these kind of games don't get a platinum. Normally they just have a trophy list with 100% associated with them, but this one here has a full platinum. It's got no bronze, 6 silvers and 9 golds. It's probably not going to be easy. It will probably take a bit of time. It's a sim game, but it has a plat to it as well. No one's earned it on PSN profiles, but people have earned it like legit in real life. Here we've got complete a mission in these trucks, complete 5 missions, complete a large scale mission, mark all the holes in the fence, get promoted to leading fireman, chief fireman, deputy. I mean, it's probably just play the whole game. I'm always curious about these sim games, so I don't know, maybe I'll check this one out. I believe it came out in the store a couple of weeks ago. It just looks like the trophy list was delayed. Super Lucky's Tale also had its trophies revealed this week. This is coming to the store probably like next week. It appears to be the same as the game that released on the Nintendo Switch recently. So it was an Oculus game that came out when the Oculus launched. Then it got ported to Xbox as like a standalone game. Then they ported that game to Nintendo Switch, and now it appears that it's coming to PS4 as well. So that's coming at some point soon, hopefully. It also had popped up on Gamestat, which means that it's probably coming in the next couple of weeks. I didn't actually know this was coming either, but it's a really kind of cool little mascot platformer. I played a little bit of it on Nintendo Switch when it launched there, but I don't think I got around to finishing it. So maybe I'll finish it on PS4 and get the trophies. Now the last game I want to talk about is Hellpoint. This is another sort of action hack and slash game that came out this week as well. It doesn't look like anyone's got the platinum yet, but I was getting some Demon Souls sort of vibes from this game, Dark Souls vibes, and it felt kind of cool. Let me check for the European version if anyone... No one's got the platinum one either, so it means that the trophy list is probably hard. Vanquished the Sentient. He could be the final boss because it's a gold trophy. Destroyed Prodigal Spawn. It's obviously for like finishing particular boss battles in the game. We won't go through the trophy list for this one, but let's have a look at the trailer. So it's got this interesting aesthetic. Let's see if we can skip ahead to some gameplay here. Gave me a bit of a Dark Souls vibe from like the action you can see here, hack and slash elements, kind of like a weird sort of environment that you're in, but obviously it intrigued me anyway. This one looks interesting. I think this comes out on the PlayStation Store. I think it actually came out on Friday on the PlayStation Store, so I'll probably look at picking this one up this week as well and checking this one out. I've got way too many games to play at the moment. That's the problem. I've got a little bit too many things to play right now, and I just don't have the capacity to get through them all, but I'm still kind of curious to check stuff out, and this one here definitely piques my interest. So maybe if I get a chance, I will try this one out, see what the platinum is like, maybe, and we'll see how we go from there. But that's actually it for this week. That's all of the news and trophies that came out on the store this week. Yeah, another awesome week of gaming. Down. July, down, finished. August is a quieter month in terms of, well, it's not necessarily a quieter month. There's a ton of games coming out in August, but not as many, I guess, like AAA games. No, there is like a ton of AAA sports games coming out. I made a video about all the games you can look forward to in August, and there is some decent stuff there. I think the great thing about August is that because I traditionally don't play a lot of sports games, it's going to give me a chance to catch up on stuff a little bit with the channel. Like I said at the start, I want to look at getting some more elements to the studio to make things more visually interesting. I want to look at getting a better schedule in place for recording and editing, so I just have a better balance between making videos and life, because at the moment I spend a lot of time making YouTube videos. I release every single day, obviously. It just takes time. It takes a lot of time, and I want to make sure that I'm still balancing things better, so I need to get into a better recording schedule for that, as well as how I incorporate streaming into that and these longer form pieces of content and kind of like my aspirations to try and grow the channel further. So that's probably what I'm going to try and spend a bit more time doing in August. I wouldn't mind taking a break for a couple of days from uploading and stuff as well, but it means that I'm going to have to record a bunch of stuff in batches if I want to have content still coming out for you guys. So I'll need to figure out when I do that, and then you'll probably see me disappear from the comment section for a couple of days so I can just take a bit of a break and a breather from things, but yeah, it won't be for too long, don't worry. That's probably about all in terms of the stuff though. Thank you guys for watching. I do really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please give a thumbs up. It always helps. You're my biggest supporters, the guys who watch this show, especially to the 35-minute mark that it is now. Thank you again for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys next. Oh, we hit 4,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for that as well. If you're a new subscriber, one of the newest subscribers from this month, thank you for joining the Trophy family and welcome aboard. Hopefully you're enjoying the content so far. And I promise I will continue to keep the quality level of content at the level it is at now or above. It will never dip below that level. It's not going to get worse. It's only going to get better from here. So that's where we're at. 4,000 subscribers blows my mind still. I guess wonder what the next milestone will be. I guess who knows when we're going to hit 5,000. That's the next exciting one. I wonder if we'll get there before September. That would be crazy. All right, I am going to go. I want to record this video and I want to go for a 5K run before I go to bed tonight. So I'm going to go and do that now. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in tomorrow's video, which will hopefully be Cuphead. Stay tuned, Morris. Bye.